energy forecast for Sunday, March 19th. So welcome to one of the busiest days that we've had in the cosmos for a very long time. It is going to be pretty chaotic, lots of different energy shifts. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that Mercury is moving into Aries energy, closing out his last 13-month chapter, initiating a brand new one. We are in the last day of Pisces season, in the last day of the old year, the old calendar. And of course, we are just edging our way towards the spring equinox, towards Aries season, towards the new year, and jumping into the new moon in Aries window. So we have a lot going on. This is what I talked about in the ascension forecast for this week. Please go ahead, take a listen if you haven't already. Shameless plug, download the new e-guide I created to help you navigate the energies of Aries season. We are jumping into a brand new year, a brand new calendar. It is best to get organized, best to put a little bit of an investment within yourself, build that relationship with yourself, because you're definitely going to need to be grounded, to be balanced as we move into a very intense time in this Great Awakening. So there is a lot to cover here today. I'm going to do the best that I can to cover all of the different aspects, but to also not, ramble on for hours and hours like I'm sure I could if I really wanted to. There are 15 different aspects here today. 11 of them involve the moon. We do have the moon moving out of Aquarian energy, going void, of course, at 6:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be locking into Pisces energy at 11:13 a.m. Again, Eastern Standard Time. Very interesting that we are moving into the Pisces energy of the moon while we are closing out the Pisces energy of the sun. Does kind of suggest that there is some unconscious, lingering mental and emotional connections that we aren't really ready to sever the cord or sever the tie with thus far. But nonetheless, we're jumping into this fire energy, and we are definitely going to feel that shift here today. So the very first aspect that we have 24 minutes into the day is Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, moving into Aries energy. Go ahead, take a listen to the astro forecast that I put out for that event. We are opening up a brand new cycle where our attention, our focus will be very straightforward, very blunt, very focused, very concentrated, which is a very, very extreme energy from what we've been sitting in with Mercury being in Pisces energy. Again, very retrograde-ish, if I do say so myself. Having Mercury move into Aries is definitely going to add a lot of pressure to the mental plane. Another reason to listen to the ascension forecast that I put out for this week so that you understand where the ascension symptoms are going to be creeping up in our physical bodies and why. The mental pressure, the information coming in from the crown, the jaw tension, all of that stuff is very revolved around this Aries energy that, of course, Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, is moving into. So make sure you stay ahead of that game. The moon is going to be interacting with Neptune in a very nice way, I would say. Of course, the moon's still in Aquarius energy, helping us to detach emotionally in order to act as the observer, see the bigger picture, see the progress, the path, the direction that we want to take and make moving forward in order for us to pursue our dreams. This is going to really allow us to be inspired, to be motivated, to remind ourselves of the vision of the dream that we are working very hard to pursue. The moon will then trine Mars. Mars, of course, nearing the end of his Gemini energy time. He is now in the free and clear of that post-retrograde shadow, which means that we are in foreign territory. We are still exploring some very vast ideas, some very extreme points of view. We're really trying to identify what direction we want to take from here, where it is that we are going to exert our force, our energy, our passion, our desire, our motivation, our inspiration, and how it is that we're feeling about it. Gearing up, again, waiting for that green light go ahead. This is definitely putting us in the more positive realm of the emotions, where we are kind of hyping ourselves up in all the right ways. Of course, Mars, very anxious to move into this Aries energy, as every single planet that moves into this Aries energy feeds him more power, feeds him more control. He rules over Aries energy. He cannot wait to get out of this Gemini energy, even though he's going to be moving into the not nicest place for him in Cancer energy. Doesn't matter. He's about to move into his rulership. We're definitely feeling a little bit of a pep in our step, like we are about to jump into something new, and we definitely are. Now, the moon is going to go ahead and we are going void, of course. And again, when the moon is void, things are shaky, things are unstable, things are very uncertain. We do not want to make any kind of commitments, choices, decisions. While the moon is void, we are only kind of sitting in it for a couple of hours here in the wee hours of the morning. And while the moon is void, we are going to kind of pop off with the sun in Pisces in such a way that is kind of giving us a little bit of a bigger, broader perspective on what it is that we're leaving behind, what it is that we're closing the door on in order to fully commit to this new reality, this new path, this new decision, this new beginning. And the overlap is kind of leaving us in this very awkward stage of adjustment where we are looking back, but we are pulling away from looking back and pushing ourselves to kind of look more forward than we have been. The moon will semi-square Chiron while being void, still in this Aquarian energy. And of course, Chiron, the wounded healer, is here to kind of, I'm going to say, play devil's advocate. Suddenly, now we're starting to fall apart, which is natural with the moon being void, of course. We are feeling uncertain. We're feeling the fears, the doubts, the insecurities coming up. We're questioning everything. And we're really kind of questioning who it is that we are now going to have to be in order to boss up to some of these challenges, these obstacles that we have to face in order to kind of create a new reality, a new circumstance for ourselves. And right now we're really wondering if we have what it takes to do just that. Well, the moon, while still void, of course, in this Aquarian energy, the last aspect that we're going to make here before shifting into Pisces is one with Pluto, the great transformer himself. Now, the Aquarian energy does kind of suggest that we're making a emotional change, I'm going to say perspective shift. That Pluto energy is the great transformer. We do have a tendency to kind of remind ourselves of the past, of the pain, of the trauma, of the suffering that we've had to endure, not to put us in a state of paralysis, but to hopefully act as the catalyst to push us into a new power, into a new control, into a new place of authority in our lives where we are going to go out and make things happen for us instead of sitting back and waiting things to happen to us. The Plutonian energy interacting with the moon in this way is a huge indicator that there is an aha moment popping off, an epiphany, if you will, a revelation going on within us. This is a deep probe within our psyche that, of course, is the first domino that needs to fall in order for our emotions to follow suit. And of course, we are attempting to lighten the load, if you will, the mental, emotional baggage that we have kind of been carrying from some of the past experiences that didn't work out so well for us. We are unpacking those bags as we are trying to lighten the load before we jump into this new brand new year. 11:13 a.m. The moon moves into Pisces energy. Things get very emotional, hypersensitive. You think Pisces season was that? Let's try the moon and the sun in this Pisces energy. Thank goodness, only for a short amount of time. Now, what we can try to lean into is being a little bit more inspired, being a little bit more in touch with the spiritual life lessons that some of the tough love life lessons and challenges were supposed to teach us, tapping into a new level of creativity. However, those are the positive parts of the moon being in Pisces. The not so nice parts is that we're overwhelmed, we're avoidant, we want to detach, we want to curl up in a ball, we just want to sit this lifetime out. And of course, it is no time to do that. We are coming to the very end of this particular challenge, of this cycle, of this season, and we might be exhausted, we might feel beaten down, broken, if you will. However, now is the time to kind of dig deep, muster up as much bravery, courage as you possibly can to push forward as we kind of close this chapter out and move into a brand new one. So the moon in Pisces goes ahead and bumps into Mercury, fresh into Aries energy. Mercury just stepped out of Pisces for the moon to kind of step in. So there is this kind of like overlap where, you know, Mercury is trying very hard to cut the cord with that experience And in this Aries energy now, we're all fired up. We have a new want, need, and desire to kind of take action, make moves. We're looking to bring things to life. We are looking to kind of speak on some of the things that we were choked up and verklempt about, because the moon in Pisces is bringing up a lot of the unconscious downloads that we've gotten over Pisces season. And now with Mercury in this fire energy, in this Aries energy, we're a little bit more of a straight shooter. We can kind of articulate, put our finger on some of the things that have been going on in our unconscious selves behind the curtain of awareness, so to speak, and getting our heart and our head on the same page is going to be a little bit of a challenge because we are in this adjustment period. However, the moon in Pisces coming together with Mercury now fresh in this Aries energy is definitely going to illuminate where, emotionally speaking, we're still very much connected to the past. Consciously and mentally speaking, we want nothing to do with the past. We want to slam the door, nail that sucker shut, and move on into this brand new cycle. The moon in Pisces will semi-square Jupiter. Jupiter is about growth and expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings. He also kind of represents the spiritual wisdom that we've accumulated through the tough love life lessons of our experiences. Now, the moon coming together with Jupiter, we tend to get a little bit, I'm going to say, over dramatic, a little bit over emotional, a little bit extra in all the different kinds of ways. Why? Because Jupiter magnifies things. He turns the volume all the way up on things, and he's in Aries energy already, so he's just raring to go. And of course, like I've been mentioning, he's kind of been stunted out in his time in Aries energy. We haven't been able to kind of go out in the world and create the kind of opportunities that we want to make for ourselves. We've kind of been restricted from taking a lot of action in our lives. And with all of these planets now moving into Aries season here tomorrow, we will definitely see Jupiter shine. But right now, we are just overwhelmed with all of the energies, all of the thoughts, all of the emotions, all of the things on our to-do list, all of the things that we can't change, all the things that we want to create. It is a little bit much. And with the moon in Pisces, we do have a predisposition to want to run away. We do not want to deal with real life. We just want to live in la la land. And right now there is an abrupt awareness that we are coming out of being able to kind of, just push things aside. We're going to have to deal with things head on. Aries energy, head on. So, we are kind of feeling a little bit of a disconnect here, and we are feeling the weight and the pressure of this, I'm going to say, underlying urgency or impulse to make moves, to take action, to create something new, while the moon in Pisces is holding on to the past for dear life. The moon will then come up to, sit next to, bump into, conjunct Mr. Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over roles and responsibilities, systems, foundations, and structures, who, of course, is very early on in this Pisces energy. Now, let me just say that when Mr. Saturn comes into the mix, we tend to get a little bit low, a little bit slow. He does provide us with a reality check. And of course, the whole point in this Pisces energy is to examine the delusions, the lies that we tell ourselves, to get real, to provide ourselves with that bitch slap of truth and reality so that we can boss up to new roles and responsibilities that we have in order to create a new system in our lives where there is a safer, stronger support and foundation for us to actually build upon. Now, this particular interaction is likely going to amplify the weight that we were feeling under that Jupiter aspect. And it's not meant to be mean to us or to push us into a funk or a depression. What it is supposed to do, though, is kind of knock us off of our high horse so that we can splat down on earth, become a little bit more realistic and practical with what it is that we're thinking, what it is that we're feeling, the to-do list that we have, realizing where it is that we're just in a whiny, complainy situation because of the energies right now, and where it is that we have the beautiful opportunity to start fresh. But of course, with the moon in Pisces, our natural tendency is just to want to, check out from reality, which, Saturn does not support at all, and really just kind of live in la la land, which we're not about to do. We have a huge shift on our hands here, people. We're moving into a brand new solar year. We have a lot of very, very pivotal astro events coming at us. This is a no time for us to kind of detach, to disassociate, to run away from our problems and our issues. We got to rise up, deal with them head on in order to kind of take control over our lives and what it is that we are going to build as far as our reality goes. Now, Mercury, who is just fresh in this Aries energy, is going to semi-square Uranus, who is in Taurus energy. Now, this is going to be a lot of pressure in our headspace, and here is why. Mercury rules over the lower level of our intellect, where our egoic self is concerned, pulling information and data from our environment, our circumstances, formulating it in our mental plane, really figuring out how it is that we think about it, forming opinions, and of course, communicating and expressing those opinions outward. Uranus is the highest level of our intellect, where we connect to the higher realms of intelligence. This is where profound insight, aha moments, inspirations, new ideas come in, and then we drop it down into the lower level intellect that Mercury rules over to add logic and practicality, strategy, to make sense of it, basically. Semi-square is a tension point. So, what can we tell? Well, this is going to be tense. This is going to be a lot of pressure in our headspace. There is an excitement because, of course, Mercury being in Aries energy, ready to go, right? Just wants to hit the ground running. So mentally speaking, we're a little bit scatterbrained. We're a little bit excited, borderline, I would say manic. However, we're very distractible, very scatterbrained, having a hard time concentrating, a hard time focusing. And we're going to kind of see this, I'm going to say scatterbrained type of erratic thought patterns, just kind of cluster F our headspace. And even more than that, kind of make us a little bit tongue-tied in our communications. Of course, we should be used to that by now with Mercury being in Pisces for the last couple of weeks. I don't know who has been able to articulate their inner realm and speak very clearly with confidence and communicate and express themselves in the way that they wish that they could. Our thought processes is going to be all over this place. And we're changing our perspective and our outlook on things because, of course, the Aries energy just has no time, no rear view mirror. We're not looking back. We're definitely rearing to go. But there's this urgency, this impulsivity, this want, need, and desire to kind of rush into something and to slam the door shut on the old and to, get all of our thoughts and our ideas out and just, like I'd mentioned, kind of verbal vomit just because we can. This is a very frazzling type of energy. And we recognize where it is that we're bored in life. We recognize what it is that we want to change. Keep in mind that Uranian energy is prepping us for a very serious change in our lives. And in Taurus energy, it's our physical lives with routines, relationships, and money matters. So, we are kind of going through this process where we are closing the door on the old version of ourselves, the old reality, the old wants, needs, and desires, the old calendar. And we're really kind of pumping ourselves up to get going here, except we're not in alignment. So this is where, bumper cars, we're just bumping our heads against a wall, so to speak. And again, a lot of pressure in the headspace. So the moon is going to help us out a tad with a sextile with Venus. So Venus is in her place of power in Taurus energy. This is basically the only grounding energy that we have right now. Really encourage you to try to stay present in the moment, connect with your physical body, with the five senses. We have to really get in touch with the physical body and the five senses in order for us to take in data and information from our current environment, to reevaluate our current systems, routines, structures, relationships, money matters, long-term goals. And listen to your body and how it is that your body reacts to some of those thoughts and realizations. That's how we're going to figure out what needs to stay, what needs to go. The sextile that is taking place between the moon and Venus is very revealing on what it is that we want, we need, we desire in order to feel happy and joyful and to really align with the good things in life and identify where safety and security and stability is needed in our lives. And the beautiful thing about Pisces energy and Taurus energy is that Pisces energy is the energy that moves into imaginary land, fantasizes almost. And the Taurus energy, being an earth energy, is how we bring it to life. So emotionally speaking, this is a good vibe for the Pisces energy, where we get to be imaginative, where we get to be creative in looking at our lives through the eyes of Venus in her place of power in Taurus energy. And we get to kind of see what it is that's working for us and what isn't, what we want more of and what we want less of. And in those realizations, we get a chance to bring it into the physical body and feel how it feels in the physical body. And that's how we know whether we have to kind of take action on creating more stability, happiness, and joy, or take action on eliminating the things that are blocking us from happiness, joy, safety, security, stability. Mercury bumps into Saturn shortly after. Now, this is going to be a cluster F, I would say, of our thoughts, of our mental narrative. Why? Because Saturn brings us down a couple of pegs. And I don't know that he's going to go full-blown negative Nancy in this particular aspect, but there's some friction here because Mercury is in Aries energy. He's hot to trot. He wants to get the party started. He wants to take action. He wants to make moves. He wants to go, 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 go. Let's initiate. Let's bring things to life. Let's, just talk about it. Let's collaborate. Let's share ideas. He's all hyped up. Saturn is like the grandfather military figure. He's cool. He's calm. He's collected because, that's how you have to operate. He is full of wisdom. He knows that nothing good is going to come out of acting hastily or acting on impulse or, just jumping into new things. There is a slowdown that's needed. There is a plan that's required. There is some thought that is needed. And that is the last thing that Mercury in Aries wants to do, is to sit around and think. We've been doing that. We haven't been thinking clearly, but we've been doing that. We are predisposed in this Aries energy to take action first and think about the consequences later. Mr. Saturn, not about that at all. He's the Lord of Karma, okay? We have to slow the roll down. Really think about what it is that we're going to exert our energy on, what we're going to talk about, what we're going to speak on. Our words have power, a lot of power at this particular point. And Mr. Saturn is just trying to pump the brakes on our mental plane here. And it could feel like we are moving into the negative Nancy narrative because, of course, Mercury in Aries is all kinds of hype, and we think we can accomplish anything. We have confidence. We just want to take action. We just want to make moves. And Mr. Saturn here is to pump the brakes, to hold us back, to restrict us so that we can, think things through very carefully so that we don't make a mess for ourselves. The moon makes a very positive interaction with Uranus. So again, we get Pisces energy and Taurus energy, the ability to imagine, to fantasize, to project a dream, a vision, and to actually bring it to life. But again, Uranian energy is here prepping us and priming us for major change, a major shift. And right now, emotionally speaking, we are trying to get on the same page with the energy. So as I've been talking about for a while, there are multiple endings and closures taking place. There are multiple cycles and patterns coming to an end while new ones are trying to be initiated. They're not happening all at the same time. There is a very small window of opportunity where they will be in alignment with another, but it very much feels like we have a foot on the gas and a foot on the brakes. And that doesn't feel good. It's a bucking sensation, if you will, in the car analogy that we're going to kind of ride with here. But what I will say is that we're making a lot more sense of some of the confusing parts of our lives, some of the pain and struggle in our lives. We're peeling back the spiritual layers on why we had to go through, what it is that we've gone through, what it is that we're being prepped and primed for, and where it is that the major changes will actually be taking place. So here's where things get interesting. Jupiter and Uranus come together in an aspect that is going to magnify for us where it is that there's a sudden shift in our perspective, in our emotions, in our thoughts, in our direction, in our physical realms. Even more than that, we have to expect very big, unexpected changes and shifts. And we have to expect a lot of big feels to go along with this and a lot of head pressure to go along with this as well. And so there is a huge illumination, a huge magnification right now on all of the things that we are preparing to change, to morph, to align, to trigger, to activate in order for us to start fresh and start new. What I love about this is that we end the day off with the moon in Pisces, sextiling, which is a great energy, with the true node, who of course is in Taurus energy. So we get some Pisces and Taurus energy again. The true node is our soul path, our destiny point, wants us to get on the right path so we can reach our soul's potential, our mission, our purpose. Emotionally speaking, sextiling with the true node is gearing us up for a major change, a major transformation. We're not running away from it now. We're actually embracing it. We're embodying it. And thank goodness we're doing it in the last hour because, again, like I said, this is the last day of the old calendar, of the old year, of Pisces season, of the old versions of us, of our old reality. And to be in alignment, to be inspired and motivated to charge forward and know that we can overcome and push through any obstacle or any challenge that gets thrown our way is a very liberating feeling. We're tapping into our spiritual warrior-isms right now, and we are eagerly hyping ourselves up to make major moves once we jump into this brand new calendar year.